What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video. Today we're reviewing Samurai Chizuru. Chizuru was one of the first units ever that everybody wanted. The Barrage meta was big. She was on the first banner ever with Kefka and Golbez. I remember re-rolling, just doing one pull per account that I made. I was really bad, really new to gacha games. I didn't know what I was doing, but I ended up getting Chizuru and getting hooked to FFBE from then on. I was a little worried about Chizuru. Heard some things. Maybe she wasn't that good. Looking at her preview, she's not true Brave Shift, which we'll talk about in a minute, but turns out she's going to be absolutely bonkers and somebody that you're probably going to want to pull for. You know, we have Nier in the future, right? You know, people want to save, but for me, I'm probably pulling for it, and that's going to be tonight on my stream, and we'll have a video tomorrow on YouTube if you want to check that out. So looking at Samurai Chizuru, she's going to be a wind-based unit, meaning she's going to amplify wind damage, and also she's going to be an LB damage unit, but she's going to be very cool because she has like the self-chaining family kind of thing going on where she chains herself, kind of like the duo units, but she does it on her own, which is kind of sweet. We'll talk about that in a minute. Moving down, we have her TMR, Code of the Samurai, increases your attack by 60%, and only for the old Chizuru. If you really want to bust that Chizuru out and do some stuff, or the new Samurai Chizuru, you're going to get 25% to all races. It's okay. The killers, so it's okay, it's not too bad. The STMR is a katana with 230 attack, and this thing is actually busted. I really gotta get my hands on it. One, you're getting increased equipment attack 100% and accuracy 50% with single wielding, so it's true double hand 100%, but you're also getting beast and plant killer 75% on this katana. The katana's already giving you 230 attack. It's kind of insane. Then we have increased static attack by 1,000. That's exclusive to the old Chizuru if you want to run it, or to the new Samurai Chizuru. This actually is insane, and it's a must-have. I mean, a lot of these STMRs are a must-have on the unit, but this one is really important, and it's going to be really great. If we look over at a Happy Family, which is going to be the Vision card, we have 125 flat attack that you get as you level it up. And then the big thing is you get some attack defense, you get guts, you get stop resist, but it's really this at the end here. Physical damage against all races 25%. That's pretty good, and will come in handy. It's not a terrible card, but it's good. It's very solid, but it's not like you got to get this card or it's over for you on your account. Like, that's not going to happen. The one thing I want to point out with Chizuru is her attack stat is insane. If we look at her Brave Shift form, right, this is going to be where you're doing most of her damage. 319. If we go to Wilk, which is the unit that was like just pumping out, everybody told me this is the unit to have, premium unit, go to Brave Shift 247. I mean, they pumped this girl's attack up, which is kind of insane. Now, she does have a drawback, right? You look at Wilk, he got true Brave Shift. He can shift between anything, anytime he wants to. We're not going to be able to do that with Chizuru. You're going to have to go back to the olden days when I stopped playing, when you have to wait on the cooldown of being able to go normal form and Brave Shift form. But she makes up with that with how much ample damage that she has. But be aware of that when you get Chizuru. You're not going to be able to go all willy-nilly back and forth. She does have all of the bad status elements covered. I mean, silence, poison, and disease, I could really, you know, I don't really need to cover anything else besides the major ones. So that's good. She is going to have a katana or a dagger. You're obviously going to want to put her katana in her hand. And now let's get to what she does. So I'm not going to cover each of these individually because I don't want to waste your time, right? You're here. You can read these on your own. But I want to talk about the big major points. So she has the ability to add wind element to all of your attacks, right? And then she has the ability to amplify that by 45% for everyone. Okay, so she's going to be your wind imbuer, wind damage dealer. So when you need wind, she's going to be the one to go for. She also has a bunch of different abilities that do get that cow morale bonus added to them, so they do more damage. She's going to be definitely good in Clash of Wills, which if you're a veteran player, been playing forever, you know, you didn't take a little break or anything, you know that's going to be expected of units if they're going to be good. She has the ability to fill the morale gauge, which is great. And this is in her Brave Shifted form. She has more support in the other form, which I'll show in a minute. And then she has the ability to also lower wind resist, like we talked about, katana resist, because again, she's going to be wanting to use katanas. And she has the ability to amplify herself by a lot more than that 45% she gives to everybody else. But before we get into that, I do need to mention that she has decreased defense 85%. Now, you guys can't tell me that this ain't a lot. Like, I know I'm coming out, I'm a boomer, I'm coming back into the game, all these stats like make my eyeballs light up really big, but 85% is still really solid. She has that in her kit, so she can also break right before she needs to do her attacks. The problem with her Brave Shift sight, and again, this is the data mine version, the game is just coming out at a maintenance soon, I think. It doesn't look like she has dual cast or like triple cast or any of that stuff in this form, so it's going to be one cast per turn, which is kind of weird to be thinking about, but you know, maybe this is not put together right, so don't hold me to that. She's still insane besides that. So what you're going to want to do with Chizuru is you're going to wait until your big turn when you have that morale gauge buildup if you're in Cal, right? If you're not in Cal, you ain't got to worry about that. But you're going to cast his ability Spring Wind Blade. Now, this is one per battle. 1 turn cooldown available in turn 1. Doesn't matter, you can only use it 1 per battle, right? It's going to get rid of all those nasty imbues that the enemy might have put on you. You know how the enemy buffs up its own, you know, lightning resist and imbues you with lightning. Well, she's going to be able to get that off of herself entirely on her own. She's going to add wind to her attack, so she can get rid of, it even says get rid of wind, but then it adds wind to the attack. Then it's going to boost up her damage from wind to 60%, so it's up from 45%. But if you wait a turn, because it's going to auto cast next turn to 75, if you get to turn 2, so you cast it, you wait a turn, that's this turn you're waiting, you get 100% amp, and that's what Sylvia has been providing for everybody with lightning and earth, which is very, very big. So be aware of that. This is the move you want to cast when you're ready to dish out the absolute most damage that you can, right? And we're going to go over her passives in a minute, but her LB is absolutely disgusting. Grant tag team attack for specific abilities for 5 turns. So she gets the ability to do the tag team attack, which means that's when she's you know, chaining with herself, from what I understand. She's going to be able to evade 5 physical attacks, which we're going to see in a minute, which is kind of nuts. And then she's going to do this. Okay, she's going to chain with herself, which means 2 modifiers get added here for a maximum of 600 times multiplier on her LB. Okay, and that is what you're going to want to cast after you get this nice big chunk of wind damage, 100% amplified up, the katana resist down, the break, all that stuff. Cast this bad boy, and you're going to need to have your morale gauge up, you know, right, to get the maximum out of this when you're in Cal. If you're not in Cal, you can cast this whenever you want. Just get this bad boy out and smash it. This move is going to do insane damage, and if you didn't know, because it's 2 modifiers, things that give LB's like plus multiplier, like Sylvie's LB, I do believe, is going to count twice. So you're going to be able to knock that multiplier up even more, which is freaking nuts, which makes her super powerful. I think she's going to be the strongest damage dealer in the game, and we haven't even talked about her other side, which is kind of nuts. Looking at her passes, which is pretty cool, this one right here is going to be locked. This is, I do believe this means locked to EX2 and EX3. On the EX2, you get Fearless Warrior at the start of battle, increases static HP 1000, and static attack defense spear about 250%. So you're getting some nice, you know, some nice stats up there. And then also you get your LB gauge filled, which is good. The EX3 is where it gets really serious. You get a static attack of 500. So we already talked about how high our attack is. They just keep giving us more attack. But it also gives you that nice increased chain modifier cap. And if you guys didn't know, the difference between increased chain modifier cap and the increased chain modifier for normal and elemental chain is this actually allows, you know how you chain up and when you get to the max chain, it adds that multiplier to your attack. You do a bunch of damage, right? In the game now, and it was kind of around before, you can get that bad boy up by 200%. So you're doing 200% more than you were before if you have these passives, or if you have, I think, Lightning's STMR is one. There's other things you guys can do to add to that, but you want to get to 200% before you enter battle. Well, if you look at her, you get 100% here, and that's at EX3. And if we go down here, you get another 100%. Okay, so you're going to get 200% without having to put anything else on her. You don't need to put that cow item on her. Yeah, the Clash of Wills, I think it's a ring or something, or some of the items give you this. I'm still working on those. You don't have to put any of that on her if you get her to EX3. So there's a big... They added something in here that really people should be going for EX3. You know, it's up to you. You get all these stats, everything like that. But the difference between that is this puts up your actual damage that you can do, your potential, your high max potential that you can get with the modifier. This just starts you out higher in the chain. You know how you had to chain up so high, elemental chain chains higher, etc., or quicker, excuse me. This is just going to start you out quicker as well. So this just adds to that. So instead of starting out at, like, you know, the lower end at 0 when you start chaining up, this just starts your chain a little bit higher in quotation marks. It lets you get there quicker, okay? Looking at this also, she has Protecting One's Master, increases her true double hand by 300%. Now, the reason this is so huge is if we move up, she does have the STMR that puts up 100% for herself. Let's see if we go to, sorry. This is always the hardest thing for me to do. 100% true double hand. So with the 300% passive, you have her STMR on. She's already true double hand out. She's going to be extremely easy, in my opinion, to put equipment on, because of all these things I'm talking about. This increased chain modifier, this true double hand's pretty much taken care of. You're going to want to boost up her LB, obviously, her LB damage, to get it as high as possible. She's also going to have 200% to beast, insects, stones, and plants, which is insane. And it's all kinds of good stuff. And she actually casts, with the Synchronized Body and Mind, she buffs up for 1 turn all allies, all of these killers, which is disgusting. We can get into what you can buff up here and how much higher it gets, etc. But you guys can look at that on your own. I don't want to go in that too much on this review. I don't want it to be going too far. All right, looking at her non-brave shifted form. So you're going to have to be in this form for a little bit if the fight goes pretty long. It's going to be more support oriented, but it's pretty cool. We can see that we have a insect buff for everyone, 250% for herself. We can also put that up for insect killer, excuse me, for your party as well, but it does do damage. So 800 times, not the biggest thing in the world, I guess, but still pretty good. Scrolling on down, we can see that we have Stone Killer, and then we have Plant Killer and Beast Killer. She's going to cover all these things and be able to amp your team up to do more damage with those killer abilities while actually still being able to dish out the damage in this form, which is cool. You know, nothing like her LB, but still really good. She also has an ability she can cast where she's going to auto-revive everybody, MP up, MP refresh. This is a big ability, though. Breezy Barrier. You remember back in the day, you had to click on your unit, click the spell, click on the boss, then click on your team really quick to get rid of all those nasty imbues. And we've already seen she has something to get rid of the imbues for herself. But she also has this to get rid of the nasty imperils the enemy puts on us. We don't got to do that trick anymore. We can use this ability here. Gets rid of all those imperils, puts our win resist up by 150%, and grants an HP barrier by 5,000, which is pretty insane. You can see here she has triple Master Samurai, and that's what I'm talking about. I do not see that on this side, so I think these are going to be solo click turns or whatever on that one. You could only use one ability per turn instead of this new stuff where we're always used to triple abilities. We're not going to be able to do that, but it's okay. This move right here is going to be way worth it. I'm super excited about that. On this side, she does have the ability to add wind element and buff everybody, or amp up the wind damage by 45%. She can buff up attack, spirit, defense, all that good stuff, raise morale gauge. She can decrease wind resist, katana resist. I think that was on the other side as well. And then you can see she has some other abilities that gets rid of like attack break, like cure attack or mage defense spirit breaks, and increases that for all allies by 400%. So she has some nice buffs there that she can do. Scrolling on down, she has passive that puts up LB damage, but you guys are going to look all into that. The one thing I do want to point out that I thought was kind of crazy, okay? I mean, everything in this kid is crazy. She has physical evasion 80% just right out the gate. Like, are you kidding me? Oh, I guess she gets 30% here from her. You have to get the EX3, but like 50% right out the gate and then 30% if you EX3 her. She's like dodging everything. I can't believe this stuff. It's insane. Her LB's a little different on this side. Increases physical accuracy 100% for 5 turns of all allies. Increases the Beast and Plant Killer physical damage 160%, excuse me, for all allies. And then increases physical ability modifiers 30 times based on morale gauge for 1 turn to all allies. Physical damage with defense scaling, you know, all that good stuff. You guys can cast this and do more damage if you want to. And there's going to be times when you guys can cast this because you can't always be in her Brave shifted form. And then you have awakening abilities and stuff like that to look forward to. So overall, I do believe after looking at some of the damage calculations that Chizuru is going to take the top unit role for damage. So that's just speaking about her damage, right? If we go down to her Brave Shift form, like we talked about, you're going to come in here, and if it's only 1 per turn, you're probably going to want to put the katana resistance down. And this is only if you have max, or, you know, where you want to be on your morale gauge. If you're not in a morale, this is what you do. You know, you put the katana resist down, then you want to cast this ability here, or you can cast this ability first, right? Because you have to wait this middle turn here, and then you can put the katana resist down, and then you can just go in and go with your LB and just smash. So there's going to be things you guys are going to want to do. That's 3 turns in this form. If we look, you guys get to be in the cooldown to normal 3 turns. So from what I understand is you'll be in that turn for 3 turns. So it'd be 1, 2, and then 3 would be, or sorry, you have to cast this first. 1, and then you have this middle turn right here to do something else, which I think you should put the katana resist down, have somebody else break, I guess, and then just go in with the LB, which would be great. And then you'll be shifted back into the other form for 2 turns. You have to wait 2 turns to come back into this form. You know, build up your LB, cast in those nice support abilities, and dish out that damage. She has covered everything. You know what I mean? She got that wind stuff, the wind amp, she got the katana breaks, she got the defense breaks, she got all those buffs for killers. So overall, in my opinion, looking at the game and playing it, you know, back on since the 6th anniversary or whatever, I think Samurai Chizuru is definitely worth going for. Bringing a lot of damage. She may be the top damage dealer in global. And again, power creep, the next unit coming out probably will be too. She provides she's like going to be my wind imbuer and wind amp when I need wind. And she's also going to be able to pump out that damage and buff up those killers we talked about. She brings a lot of utility, just not in her damage, but she can amp the whole team up, which is great with those killers and stuff, you know what I mean? So like if you're going against an insect like that new trial we had, she can come in, buff up that insect stuff, and buff everybody by wind. You know, it's just really cool that she can do all that stuff besides just I do damage. So it's kind of awesome. And with her tag team LB, getting that modifier buff up from Sylvie, because if you guys didn't know, Sylvie can add up a chain modifier to LBs, and that's going to count twice for her because of that tag team. So that's going to be cool as well. So hopefully you guys, you know, hopefully I did pretty good on my returning unit review. Hopefully you guys had the best of luck summoning for Samurai Chizuru. Again, I'm going to be summoning for her on stream tonight if you guys want to check that out, or I'll have that video up on YouTube tomorrow. You can check that out as well. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how you feel about Samurai Chizuru and how you guys think my unit review was. I know I was talking really fast, but I'm doing the best I can. Subscribe for future content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.